Alright guys, so this video is probably gonna ruffle some feathers. Now we've kind of built a community here on where we look at the value of what earbuds and headphones and IEMs can actually bring without having to spend a whole lot of money. Yet today we're gonna talk about a pair of true wireless earbuds that we're going to see if it's going to be worth their $900 retail price. Now, the pair that we're going to talk about is the Geekfly Legend 6. The first argument that people mainly have when it comes to spending a lot of money on true wireless earbuds is that the battery is eventually going to die. Like, it's not going to last. So why would I spend that much on something that's not going to be good in a year or two? Well, it looks like the company Geekfly will replace the battery for the first 5 years. The other argument that most people have is that true wireless earbuds can't really compete with audiophile grade wired IEMs. Well, these actually have 2 balanced armature drivers, 2 piezoelectric drivers, and 2 planar drivers, while having a hi-fi DAC and an amp built in, while also having aptX adaptive playback, but still, these only do have Bluetooth 5.3, so not the newest Bluetooth technology, but there are some actual pretty good components in here that makes the argument, can these be like having portable IEMs on the go? Now, the build quality is solid. The case itself is actually made from real wood and stainless steel. The earbuds are made from resin with a small brass cavity. It does come with this ridiculously large leather looking box that I really feel like it only exists just to kind of help justify the price that you're paying for these. Because remember this, at the end of the day, this is a product that's made to be small enough to carry around in your pocket. So the fact that it comes with packaging that is made large enough to hold all of the hardback versions of the Harry Potter book series, it just to me seems a little bit overkill. Now, inside the box, you do get a leather looking case to hold the case and maybe some other accessories you want to put in there. You get plenty of different silicone ear tip options, which I do recommend just trying them all out to really get the sound you want. And the charging cable it comes with is just a generic USB-C cable, but you are going to have to use a USB-C cable because the case on these does not support Qi wireless charging. And I know that right off the bat is going to bother some people. This pair also does not have smart sensors, so it doesn't pause when you take them out of your ears. So for people that are looking specifically for features, this pair is not going to be for you. Now, they do have an app, which I am going to say is pretty bland for the most part, and you do have to go looking online to actually find it, find a QR code to scan with your phone to be able to even download the app. But you do get some EQ options that are already built into the app. You do get to customize the EQ settings the way that you want with this 5-band equalizer that will change the measurement so you can see exactly the sound that you're trying to dial in. You can customize the controls, and then really outside of that, the only thing the app does is just make sure that your earbuds are updated. Now, one thing that I do want to point out before we get into the sound is the fit of these. Now, I do think these have a little bit of weight to them, and I also feel like if you're going to be doing anything rigorous, anything active where you're going to be bouncing up and down or maybe like really shaking your head, these might have a hard time staying in your ears. They don't have any kind of ear hooks, and again, the weight on them is a little bit higher than most normal true wireless earbuds. So I don't feel like this pair is made to be used out and about, because honestly, on top of that, there's no official IP rating that I could find on these either. So I don't know that they're made to be, used around water or in those type of environments anyway. Now, if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, they do have dual mics on here that is using a form of noise canceling to try to block out external noises and just kind of focus in on your voice. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is a quick mic test using the Legend 6 outdoors. It is a windy day today. I can hear birds, I can hear traffic. So this is going to give you a good idea of what the mic sounds like if you were to take a call outdoors. So here's the big one. How do these actually sound? Well, honestly, they sound great. But the big question is, do they sound $900 great? And I feel like that's really going to just come down to the user itself. But if it were up to me, I would honestly say I couldn't justify spending $900 on this pair of earbuds. And that's mainly because Geekfly themselves has a better option in their own Vitas that come in at $400. but we're going to ignore the price for a minute and just talk about the sound as it is. And this is a very dynamically tuned earbud. It didn't come in with that flat response, which I was kind of expecting. It does have a nice analog sound to it, so it doesn't sound like overly digital or overly processed. And again, I think this is trying to mimic having an IEM plugged into a DAC and an amp just sitting at a desktop. And I think for the most part, kind of pulls that off. The bass is very strong. It's really punchy, and I didn't feel like it tried to let these get sloppy. I don't feel like they were trying to be audio snobs and just kind of hold back on the low end. The mids I feel like is really, really good. I didn't feel like they pushed the vocalist too forward. I didn't feel like they ever let them get lost in the mix either. If I had to be nitpicky, I would say that I would have liked a slightly more forward approach when it comes to vocals. I just like to have a little bit more of a sharpness to vocal tones, and I feel like, you know, they kind of played it safe. It has this warmer sound to it, which does sound pretty natural overall. But when it comes to the treble, they let that actually get quite bright. Now, it wasn't like overly harsh or had that sibilant sound when it comes to S's. They just allowed these earbuds to have a really dynamic and vibrant sound overall. And then when it comes to the soundstage and the sound imaging, these are also very good here. For the most part, I always felt like I was in a really large room, and they really just excelled when it came to telling where different sounds were coming from. And just really good separation in the sound. You can just feel the distance and everything. So again, check the box here. And for the sound overall, it was really impressive. But my overall opinion can't help but to come back to the price. I mean, really, I can't help it. This is a $900 pair of true wireless earbuds that don't have Qi wireless charging. They don't have smart sensors. They don't even have noise canceling, which is what a lot of people pay for when it comes to true wireless earbuds. If they're going to spend a lot, they're usually looking for noise canceling. But what you're getting here, in my opinion, is just pure sound. You're getting really good sound for a pair of true wireless earbuds. You are, again, getting really good life out of the battery. So again, they're going to replace it, you know, in 5 years, the battery just dies overall. The battery life itself, I did forget to mention this, isn't great. You're only going to get like 6 hours out of the earbuds, and I think maybe 24 more hours using the case. Definitely not the best that I've seen here. But again, all of the drivers that are in here is causing these to use a little bit more power to push these. On top of that, the DAC and the amp and everything that's internally in earbuds, which IEMs use external sources for. So you kind of have to understand, you know, why it's pulling as much power as it is. But my opinion still stands at this. The $900 is a little hard to swallow because you have pairs like the Noble Audio Rex 5, you have the Status Pro X, and again, you have Geekfly Vitas, which is a very impressive sounding earbud at more than half the cost of the Legend 6. So my opinion, I just don't see where anybody would spend this kind of money on a pair of true wireless earbuds, no matter how nice you try to make the packaging and the whole presentation look. I was impressed with the sound quality, so don't get me wrong. This is not like a crap product. It's just in a very tough market to ask that kind of price. But guys, that wraps up my video on the Geekfly Legend 6. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.